Holy shit, we're back. It's the Totally Legitimate Business Podcast. We're back again, joined by Michael Pridmore. He's going to take us on a magical journey. You know, we've talked about a lot of things on this podcast, but one thing that we haven't spent any time talking about is something that we should spend some time talking about right now, and it's fucking Bigfoot.
Hell yeah, Bigfoot. Yeah, everyone knows about it. Everyone accepts it. It's probably like my favorite, like harmless conspiracy theory, I would say. It's like, it's just Bigfoot exists, you know? And everyone's cool with it.
Stay out of his territory.
That too. But yeah, for the people who aren't even around areas like that, they're like, oh yeah, Bigfoot. You know?
Why? Now, here's the question. Why do you think that is?
People... I don't think it affects anything. Although the further down the rabbit hole you go, you realize maybe there's more to it, you know.
Definitely.
But on the surface, I think it's just like, oh yeah, there's probably some like proto-human missing link ape hominid out there, you know.
Why not?
And there's the the like 1967 like photo everybody knows, you know. Actually, I was just thinking about it. Have a when I went to Colorado.
That's fucking awesome.
Because there's a bunch of Bigfoot stuff out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is like a bookmark. It was in a desk, so I can't say that, but that was its first use was as a bookmark.
Yeah. It's a good use for it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just so like I think easy for people to accept. Just because there's no, like usually conspiracy theories have some sort of like consequence
point.
You know?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and I guess just at the surface, yeah, Bigfoot is just like that's fine. It doesn't affect anything. But I did go down the rabbit hole when I was in Colorado when I got that little thing. Just because we like saw like so much stuff about it, we were like, what's the like the cryptozoology take, on Bigfoot? And from there, it goes out of control.
It sure does.
Yeah.
I one thing like I've always, I guess for the same reason, I've always loved this particular story because it's like, oh, neat. It really is like that. It's like, oh, somewhere deep in the recesses of the forests, just like in the recesses of the oceans, there's big old creatures we haven't even discovered yet. And in some way, it I guess it is. That's why it is believable for a lot of people because it's like, yeah, shit, we haven't been out there.
Right.
I was watching this. There's a Concrete episode. Or Danny Jones podcast episode, and it was talking about this guy who just recreationally maps lost cities in Mexico and the Amazon. But he was talking about how in Mexico and in the Amazon, like the deeper you go into the jungle, the bigger the structures get, the bigger the stones get. But nobody can get out there because the jungle is just so dense. And in the same way, like that's a lot of our national forests, like our park forests, they're just so massive. There's no way we could know everything that's going on in there.
Oh, no way. Yeah.
But is it so isolated? And is it that we live in 2023 and no one has still been able to capture good video? I mean, even that recent thing that happened in October where they got video, it's like, it's still not the best video. So... And here, I guess I'm just going to vent about this really fast. I've watched all the documentaries that exist for Bigfoot stuff, but there aren't a lot. And very few of those that exist are good.
Oh,
so
yeah.
That's I think the best, the thing that got closest to it, and it's like kind of Bigfoot adjacent, is Missing 411, which we can get into later. But I don't know. Let's just start there. So like, in terms of the lore, tons of the lore exists, dating back to like ancient cultures. What are the things that you like? how fast did it get weird once you started going? Like, what was your entry point, and at what point were you like, what the fuck? This is too heady.
Right. Uh, the part that really surprised me was the like where aliens come into play. Because then it's like, whoa, like I was cool with just some cross, human ape thing, but now like aliens. But yeah,
Trans-dimensional beings.
yeah, like aliens. I guess the part that got me was like aliens genetically altering the DNA of Bigfoot, which is also plural, I should add. Is that something you remember? I heard people use Bigfoot as a plural form. So like if there's 3 Bigfoot, it's just, those are 3 Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. But yeah, that like aliens and Bigfoot, or aliens genetically modified Bigfoot to create humans. And that's what, like, so Bigfoot is our like ancient, prototype.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Prometheus. It's our Prometheus.
Yeah. Yeah. The missing link.
Yeah.
Right. Which is interesting.
I mean, okay, look, as far as like the things to believe, it's really not that ridiculous. If we're entertaining that aliens exist, we have to entertain that they could be, meddling genetically with under creatures. We do it to creatures that we view as below us, so why wouldn't a more advanced creature do it to us? But I guess, like, where do you even start? Like, where how do we got the iconic picture of Bigfoot. This is like effectively where the lore begins. And, where do we go?
Right. Yeah. And yeah, I think like that was the first sighting, first image. And like before that, I think if you search Bigfoot, it just goes to like 1958, some like article where someone was talking about like a cousin of the Himalayan Yeti,
Right.
Yeah, but so like nothing before that. So Bigfoot, totally recent, but like different cultures had a bunch of similar, iconography or statues, stuff like that. And people could say like people have seen this thing for a long time, and that's like the cryptozoology sort of bit, like where you get into that, people seeing this like recurring thing throughout history, and maybe it's some, like different, like Bigfoot account for, different areas. Like I heard like the Yeti was a local variation of the Bigfoot out there. So,
and again, why not? If we're entertaining that these things exist, we have to understand that, like, just like other species of animals on this earth, they, the most adept to surviving that particular environment would, become unique in some way.
Right.
That's not so crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, we got like those fish underwater with the little lights,
Yeah.
Big jaws, like scary looking stuff. Like, why not?
Life finds a way. Jurassic Park, 1993.
Right. Yeah. I'm trying to think of what else, like for like just basic stuff. But yeah.
What all did you watch and or read, or did like some crazy park ranger be like, "Oh, I've got a story to tell you, guy. Welcome to Colorado, land of the Bigfoot."
I wish I had like a first-hand encounter. We went through like the 4-on-1.
That series.
Yeah, that series.
Missing 411.
Missing 411. That was it. Discovering Bigfoot, that documentary. This guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved to. I think it was one of these documentaries, but there's a guy there like the whole time as they're like on the field, doing research like in the woods, where he's like, I've seen fox sign, I've seen, human sign, I've seen cow sign, and I've never seen something like this. Like, why would somebody come out here and do this? Like he keeps saying that over and over, and it's like, the people making a documentary would totally do that.
Yeah, right, exactly.
You,
Yeah, 100%.
So it's just so fun. Like it's just, that's why I think it's harmless. Like, right. You know,
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I mean, missing 411 gets a little weird because it's like then we're talking about maybe they're somehow this element is involved in like disappearances of people.
true. That is where it gets dark. Yeah.
But that's you really like that wasn't a thing. Like I mean, I've known about the Bigfoot thing since I was like fucking 10 years old. You know what I mean? But it probably wasn't until I was in my late 20s where I started hearing people talk about Bigfoot being like a trans-dimensional being. But that's so this guy David Polides, and this guy's like a budget Josh Brolin. First of all, second of all, with a facial hair like that, you have to hunt Bigfoot. I think it's legally required if you have facial hair like that you have to hunt Bigfoot.
Oh yeah.
But his series Missing 411 is amazing. There's a bit of the backstory here, but basically, this guy is a former police officer who is now an investigator and writer known primarily for his self-published books dedicated to proving the reality of Bigfoot and establishing the Missing 411 conspiracy theory. Missing 411 is a series of books and films which document cases of people who have gone missing in national parks and elsewhere and assert that these cases are unusual and mysterious, contrary to data analysis which suggests that they are not actually statistically mysterious or even unexpected.
Right.
But yeah, so effectively, in this series, spoiler alert, in this series, it starts out, you think it's just about people going missing, and then it really gets into some crazy shit. But anyways, that, in my opinion, that's probably like the best produced iteration of any of the Bigfoot thing, and it's not strictly Bigfoot. But anyways, what else?
Yeah.
You were listing off some other things you saw.
But yeah, we did watch that actually when we were in Colorado because I think we like realized like how like spooky and weird like the mountains were. Like we went up there one day and walked around a few trails and everything, and then came back and watched all these videos about people disappearing, you know, and then it went into the Bigfoot, and then it spiraled out of control. We were just like, what? Yeah. There's just like, I saw this like government hiding the truth. Like you can just find so much on YouTube, like Definitely. On this subject. I was just given like keywords and just sort of seeing what the general buzz, you know, how many hits I could get. But that goes into like, covering up missing hikers and like cases of like UFO out in the mountains at like national parks and stuff like that. Which is definitely a whole nother just bag on its own. I loved watching some people like looking at footage who are like very pro Bigfoot, you know, like believers, I guess. And they're like explaining the footage. That stuff's good. There's one called Bigfoot versus Buffalo. And it's just this like one guy just at home, just like, you know, zooming, enhancing, like going frame by frame. He has like a rant about CGI for a little bit because you can tell he's like a little older. It's great. Yeah. The people it attracts are fun.
I mean, they're pretty obnoxious. Yeah. It's even more extreme than just like regular UFO community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I feel like the people, you can always tell. Like, you don't have to see the stickers on this guy's car. You can just tell this he believes in Bigfoot.
It can come out of nowhere too. I remember I was at a bar and I think I'd played pool with like the stranger. So we were just like chatting outside for a moment. And I think he was like, I'm into like weird conspiracy shit. And I was like, cool. Okay, yeah. Like, what do you think about Bigfoot? Or maybe he asked me, and I brought up Bigfoot in some way from that. Just like, oh yeah, Bigfoot's pretty fun, right? Like, and he was like, well, you know, that's what the national parks are for. They like gather all the Bigfoot together so they can keep track of them. And I was like, no way. I hadn't heard that yet. Yeah. And I was just like, no way. Bigfoot can be controversial. you know. Um,
And oh man, if you would have questioned his beliefs, he would have killed you right there, I bet.
oh, I had to agree. Yeah, I had
He
to.
killed you and fed you to the Bigfoot.
You couldn't know where they are. I don't know.
Okay, so I just have to show you these things because they're fucking hilarious.
Love it.
On that subject. So I just did a quick Google search for Bigfoot, and a bunch of really hilarious things came up. That Wikipedia article, which we can look at if we need to. This website, the Washington Military Department, it's a government website.
Oh,
And this, it's just funny that like they reference it, and of course it's not like saying that they believe that or anything, but it's just hilarious.
do they pledge to save you from Bigfoot? If like, what is the military having an opinion about Bigfoot for?
They rounded him up in the park so they could keep track of him, dude. Remember that what that guy said?
Yeah.
But this is fucking hilarious.
I will,
The Bigfoot.
since you mentioned Washington, there's several companies in Washington State who use Bigfoot as their mascot. Like it's just a way of life. Like
It's a part of national pride. It's like the state animal.
Yeah, it's like the state mascot. Like, like air conditioning companies have, it's like, it's so brand
Big
friendly.
freeze. Yeah, just Bigfoot punching, the sun in the face.
Yeah, I feel like from a marketing perspective, it's an interesting, because they're supposed to smell like shit and vomit, which I'm sure you came across in your.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Which
it's
is
in the description of this episode.
And that's how you can tell they're around.
Yeah.
So yeah, just thinking of that as a marketing thing. Yeah, Washington. So their military is even on it. That's great.
Listen, it's a point of national or state pride for them.
Mm.
The website right below that is the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization, and this shit looks like it was made in 1992.
Ooh.
And has not been updated. I can't share sound. I fucking wish I could, because I would play that and we would laugh. But this is just something for fun. I mean, definitely worth checking out. Just hilarious what you find on the internet.
With the undisputed facts that.
Yeah, right. There are definitely some undisputed facts there. That's for sure. So I can't remember if this was before you said you wanted to do this episode or not, but right around the time we were talking about doing this, there was another pretty prominent Bigfoot sighting, and this made like national news.
Oh.
And I don't think we'll be able to hear anything anyways, but
What?
Yeah.
And Jack Black's there too?
Yeah, Jack Black was there. Isn't that crazy, dude?
Wait, so that was the real footage right there?
This is it. Guy was on a train ride. Oh, and he's a man from Florida. Look at that. It could be a wilderness guy in a ghillie suit, but
that's one of the things about Bigfoot that keeps.
Is this another one? Oh,
keeps
yeah.
Keeps it kind of like locked in. Is this footage of it not existing? Because, like, if you did get good footage, you're on the news. Like this guy right now. Like, everyone's chasing that fame.
Yeah. Bigfoot enthusiast.
Right.
And fake ass videos like this are just, this is what, I don't know, this is the kind of shit that you see most of the time.
Oh, and there's so many fakes too.
Yeah, it's just like terrible, terrible fakes. But that's hilarious. This is what's funny to me. This shit made it to the New York Times.
Wow.
And this one's there was a article here by the Smithsonian just trying to shit on it. This one's basically trying to do the same thing, but that's New York Times, would expect. And then I found this. I wanted to see if you had seen any of these. But again, like, look at these are the Outside Magazine's 10 most convincing captures of Bigfoot. That's not that convincing.
No.
Meh.
Oh, footprint.
Meh.
Okay.
This is it.
It's
this This is all we have.
I feel like that's also like the mind game of Bigfoot, is that every picture you see of it, you're like, that no way, that's fake.
Yeah.
You know, like how many, if Bigfoot was real, how many pictures like were actually, but they're all fake as far as we know.
I mean, I guess that's the point that I'm trying to make here is like there's just they're all the same, and even now with like the abundance of people in wilderness with high definition video capabilities,
Or like hunter cams,
or yeah, like fucking heat sensors. Like somebody who's like really into this shit, just go out into the woods in an area where there's a bunch of sightings with like some insane military grade equipment, and you can probably see what's going on out there. They have night vision, intense night vision shit. All sorts of thermal options. I don't know, man.
Yeah. What if? I mean, surely the U.S. government has thought of this as a threat to national security and sent a man into the woods out there, just military graded out everything, ready to hunt anything. That'd be a great movie. Like a predator, like a predator style.
No, seriously, but it's Bigfoot and the military sending like Delta Force.
Yeah.
You need to find Bigfoot.
He's out there. We've got sightings. They're like holding up like a fistful of those pictures that we just looked at. Study your
seriously.
assignment. Yeah.
It's like super shitty satellite imagery. That's no better than this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's one of those things. Like I would love that. I would love if some shit like that became a reality in our life, and it might, because like, dude, we're always finding weird shit, especially in the oceans. Like, especially in the past. I don't know if you've been like paying up to staying up to date with shark news, but sharks have been losing their shit. Sharks and whales. There's been a bunch of like sightings of much bigger sharks, and sharks, because of changing patterns in the ocean, sticking closer to land and feeding on humans more, because that's a more abundant and easily accessible source of food. But like there's been a couple like satellite images of massive sharks, a bunch of underwater oil rigs capturing like 40-foot long tentacles of some massive monster squid. Like we just don't know. We don't spend time there. Like for a while in the Congo, they thought there was a dinosaur called Makili Emembe, and like legitimately they thought it was just a dinosaur, and nobody has been out there. Literally, you just can't go out there. It's not a thing. It's not a place you can easily access. But the local legend is there's a fucking dinosaur that lives out. From the people who actually like live deep in the forest, are like, it's. And dude, like, every day you see a news article about like some monster Amazon snake they find. I don't know. To me, it's just not that. It's not that crazy. Like, of the known natural things that we have found to exist right now, accepting that we haven't found everything, we're constantly discovering new species of shit all the time.
Right.
I don't know. It's like how big of an effort do you need to like capture one of these on some planet Earth grade shit? You know what I mean? Like, on how do you need the $5 million budget? Like, what's the budget here to get a fucking Blue Planet crew out there to find this fucking thing and film it in 4K? God damn it!
Right? Yeah. Like, if we can check out Antarctica, we can get like a group of one or two people from every country. They can come out here and they can figure it out. We've done more difficult things, unless they're trying to cover it up. That's where I think now you're turning into the conspiracist. like everyone comes around to it eventually, right? But giant squid's a great thing to bring up, because pre-world where confirmed giant squid existed, it was just like a pirate thing. Like, where would you have categorized it in like high school, as like Oh,
Yeah, no,
giant
it would.
squid's like
Yeah, it
a
would have been like out of a fictional pirate tale. Yeah.
right, and then that turned out to be true, and everyone's just like, huh, okay, and then that was it, like. But they didn't even try to like find more, or I mean, they've like noticed them now, I guess. But
Well, I mean, it's the same thing with the jungles. Like, bro, humans can't be down there.
yeah,
Big fucking creatures can be down there, but humans can't. Not
right.
easily. We can, but it like takes James Cameron and millions of fucking dollars. But I imagine if you talk to the people that have spent time down there, same thing with the people who have spent a lot of time like deep in the fucking Amazon jungles. I'm sure that they're like, oh yeah, based on what I have seen, it wouldn't. I mean, dude's like spiders as big as your whole body.
Ooh.
Bats. I was looking up. I pre-taped an episode with my buddy, and we were talking about the ashwang, which is like this local lore in the Philippines of like this vampiric shape-shifting demon that's like deeply embedded in the core. And he was telling this story because of some psychological operation that the CIA did involving the ashwang. But like there were pictures when I was looking that up of guys deep in the Philippine jungles holding up bats as big as they are. And like if that is a huge thing that's flying around, like how is that different than Mothman? You know what I mean? It's not impossible to think that we just haven't discovered all the creatures that exist out there, and there's some shit that would just, totally defy. But
Mhm.
this one is I feel like it's a little kind of uniquely American though. Like yes, it does exist elsewhere in the world, but I feel like a majority of the Bigfoot conversation occurs in America.
Oh yeah,
I don't
yeah,
see
for
any
sure.
I don't see much foreign produced media on Bigfoot or Yeti or Sasquatch or something like that.
Right. Yeah, they do say it's like North American Sasquatch, I think, is the Bigfoot, where Yeti would be. I think, yeah, Yeti's from the Himalayas.
Asian,
So,
yeah.
so those mountains. But, yeah, just different tribes of Bigfoot across the world in high mountain areas. So, we as, society throughout creation just pushed our prototypes up into the mountains, right? Like, aren't there like a bunch of old school like fairy tales about that? Like the wicked
Or we
something in the
come down
mountains.
from the mountains. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And what's funny, like, I can't remember where I heard this, but I think it was dovetailing on the massive shark. Let's see if I can find a picture of this thing. Uh, yeah, so somebody captured this picture. It's like from like a satellite or super high up, and that shark would be, something ridiculous, 50, 75 feet long.
Oh,
This is real shit. That's a real shark. That's
what?
probably like 20 feet. But dude, recently there's been a bunch of crazy shark attacks, and there's been a bunch of massive motherfuckers just showing up in places other than just Australia. But somebody was talking about it, and they were saying basically like it's not, you really can't rule out the idea that there's like much deeper down there are bigger versions of these animals, and there doesn't need to be a ton of them. There would only be a small number of them. If it had lasted this long, it wouldn't be like massive schools of 60 feet shark. It would be a handful of them across the whole world. Like an ancient species that just can't go higher than a
They're topped
certain,
out.
yeah.
They're just good.
But
Yeah.
what they're saying recently is that these creatures are kind of coming out of the depths because we've disrupted the temperatures of the seas, and that's shifted what they would feed on around, The system evolves, and then they have to come up a little bit higher to find food, whereas before it was abundant, lower down. But I don't know. Again, it's really not that crazy. Like, there wouldn't have to be a 10 million Bigfoot. There could be a small number of these types of creatures, and they just, it doesn't. They don't. They just stay there. They genetic diversity would become a problem at some point, but
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. So it's interesting to think about it like that. Yeah, like a dying species. There's people who've like put them under species protection because of this, like filed with the U.S. government to have them be recognized as a protected species.
If they are discovered, and the government hasn't already fucking discovered them, and is using or monitoring them for some reason, the big thing would, people would be going out there hunting them. That'd be the first thing people would do if Bigfoots were discovered. There'd be a rush of people out to the woods trying to hunt a fucking Bigfoot. That'd be the first thing.
Smell it. Wait, I was thinking of like fashion, and I was just thinking it'd smell like shit and vomit again. I always go back to the shit.
Think of how rare that is. Think it might be like a Zoolander derelict. Like, it's so chic that people put up with the smell, and then they bottle the smell in perfume. Chanel, Bigfoot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It takes a personality to bring that out, and play it well. I think, you save it for those special moments.
Yeah, 100%.
Like a divorce, like you're signing your divorce papers.
Yeah, definitely.
Coming with those shoes, or like a scarf.
Trying to attract an attractive Bigfoot the next time you're on a hike. The special times. You break it out in the special times. One drop of it is worth, the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Oh, yeah, people are like, using the smell as like musk.
It's like pheromone. Yeah. There's like a Bigfoot black market for Bigfoot trinkets, like toes and fingers.
People rub it on their face.
It would get fucked
cures
up.
acne.
It would get fucked up super quick. Please, we would discover and completely erase that entire species from.
It cures cancer. Like, we harvest all the Bigfoot, and then we know it's real.
I guess that is the only way we'll know it's real.
Isn't there like a bounty for like a photo, or I'm just thinking of the general like UFO thing, right? I thought there was like a bounty out there, like from like a national, like recognized serious place.
Not that I'm aware, but it wouldn't surprise me in the least bit.
Okay.
It could be one of those things where it's just like the perfect publicity stunt. Because it's like all you have to do, even if it's an actual photo of Bigfoot, just to not pay them, you're like, nah, that's fake. Like that's what they say to every person that submits a photo or video.
Every single photo of Bigfoot is fake. Yeah,
that's a conspiracy, right?
I don't think we'll ever. I think that's how Bigfoot stays in the conspiracy theory zone, right there. Every photo is fake. You won't even believe any footage you see unless a Bigfoot like comes up to you and smells like shit and vomit.
Yeah, no, seriously. So one of my favorite things of all of the documentaries that I have seen is when they start to get in like the Blair Witchy elements of it, where they'll be
the paranormal part. Yeah.
Even before they get to the paranormal part, really, it's like when they're tracking Bigfoot and they find the trees that are bent in a certain way, and they find like the path that they think they're on. It smells that way, and it's like, hang on, let me see if I can find pictures. It's very Blair Witch.
Oh yeah, they call it like Squatch Sign. I thought that was. You saw that documentary, right? Where they were just saying it a bunch, or I don't know. I came across one thing where they were just saying it a lot, like it was a thing. It cracks me up. Squatch Sign.
It's amazing. I just Google searched Squatch Sign, and a sign came up that said, "I'm a part of the neighborhood Squatch."
Ordering that.
Yeah. Okay. So this is what I'm talking about. this whole element, how you like find these big trees that will like mark their Bigfoot path.
Oh,
I watched a bunch of documentaries where they talk about how like there's trees bent in this specific way, and they're bent.
yeah, that's some grip right there.
And all it is to just like, mark the path.
But also, yeah, I know.
It's Bigfoot.
Dude, that's what he looks like. Again,
but yeah, there's just like this again. It's like this Blair Witchy element of it.
But I'm seeing someone who took a picture of it, and I'm like, why are they? They could have just.
Oh, very well. I mean, in some cases, some of these trees look pretty big.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, that's heavy weight for an average person to be lifting up around. That for sure. But
you can't lift a tree, bro.
No, not yet.
You can't tie a tree together.
I sure can't do that yet. But it's just like this super spooky aspect of it.
Yeah, I'd be terrified if I came across something like that in the woods. Like
something that kind of looks like it was designed or like put together,
purpose.
All the way out there. Yeah, purposeful, all the way out there. Like, I don't know what the statistical likelihood of a bunch of trees falling in the woods and just making a shape like that, but I don't know. It's interesting. And it's my favorite part because it's like the spooky, it's like the spookier side of it. So, not only can this creature be massive, but it can sneak up on you and it can be invisible or like shapeshift, or that's when it gets into like the headier elements of this thing. Like, I've also heard the theory that like Bigfoot is just another manifestation of UFOs. It's a form that they can take, like a terrestrial being. When they're in the sky, they're in a ship, a craft, and when they're on planet Earth, that's like an option for them to walk around in. Or like they use there's like portals in the caves, and Bigfoot are actually interdimensional in the sense that like they can access this world, but they actually live in another. And I don't know if you've come across any of those things, but that's definitely some of the shit that I've heard.
That they can like willingly shift from our dimension to theirs, or stuff like that, which is I mean
I kind of love that though, because the first time I heard it I was like, wait, you're telling me that this isn't just a lumbering wood ape? You're telling me this is a trans-dimensional being that can tune its fucking physical frequency to enter in and out of this plane of existence at will? It makes it a whole lot more sophisticated. Right? And then you're like, well, why is this guy out in the woods? Like, is he just like total hippie where he's like, dude, I can transport myself wherever. I'm 100% one with nature. I fear nothing.
They're the Bigfoot that chose to do this.
I guess. Like, why wouldn't he just, do something different? Like, why pick this Earth? Can't you find another planet that doesn't have fucking a disease like humans encroaching upon all your pristine land?
Yeah, it does. It makes the Earth seem special when that part comes out of it. Like, that takes it in a whole different dimension of like, oh yeah, Bigfoot's probably real. And you're like, well, does interdimensional travel exist? And you're like, maybe, I don't. And what if, it was just like a lumbering wood ape that just possessed the ability to sift in between dimensions at will, or maybe not. Maybe that's why they look so like homeless and confused all the time when you have seen footage of Bigfoot and Harry.
This isn't my neighborhood.
That's just their life experience. Like, it just happens. They're just flowing in and out.
Seems like a terrible existence.
Maybe there's a dimension that's fun, and all the rest of them suck.
That would not shock me. Wouldn't shock me in the least bit. But I just really love how the two worlds of UFOs and aliens and Bigfoot have collided. Like, I'm glad that is now just a part of this conversation. And,
Yeah.
a lot of the places where Bigfoot sightings are also, mountains that are associated with UFO sightings. Like, there's a lot of correlation and overlap, and it's why, things like Missing 411 have started to make that connection.
Yeah, the Venn diagram, you realize after you watch that is, oh yeah, this is like all geographically at least connected. Yeah. Or is it just the mystery of the national parks, that like make people just think the what if, because we don't know what's out there.
Yeah, we really don't.
And it was kind of creepy being there, I will say. Like, I went with two friends and we stayed together, but there was like one part where like I lost line of sight with them and then like immediately caught back up, and then like every documentary we watched was like, that's when they went missing. Just like, they turned around and they weren't there and then they're gone. And there's no cell phone service.
Dude, like, one of the things about nature that has always struck me, and it's something that most people in modern society are completely removed from, is you're very quickly reminded of the frailty of your existence.
The mortality kicks
in. You're very quickly reminded, like, oh, I am not top dog in this environment.
Yeah,
and I don't know. It's just for me. It's always, in a good way. It's like super sobering, but it's always sobering. Like, oh shit, this world could swallow me up and no one would even know.
That too.
Never find my body again. Like that. That's the other thing too. Missing 411. It could have been Bigfoot. It could have been transdimensional beings, UFO, Bigfoot beings, but it could also just be they got lost in the woods.
Right.
It's this world could swallow you whole and no one would even know, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's just like, when you're in nature, you can't predict anything at that point.
Well, have you also seen that map? Hang on, I'm going to pull this up. Map of missing people and caves. So I think I can't remember which is which, but one is okay. Bottom one here is caves. Top is missing people, and the correlation is fucking striking. And like those are just like the known mapped caves. Another high risk hobby that's like, we don't know what's in those fucking things. We can't even get all the way through some of them. We definitely haven't discovered all of the caves that exist out there, and definitely even the ones that we haven't explored them all the way. You know what I mean? Like there's nooks and crannies that we just can't get in. But again, it's like, who knows what could be in there? Who knows what could be in there?
That's why I've never seen those two maps put next to each other before. That's kind of eerie.
Yeah, no, dude, it's like this world can swallow you whole. I mean, people go out into the wilderness thinking everything's going to be all right. People go climbing on rocks. People go climbing in caves. People go scuba diving in underwater lakes and shit. People go missing all the time. And especially in places like that are hard to get in. Dude, this is one of my friend Sam always. You heard about Green Boots?
No.
Okay, so Green Boots is a guy that died on Mount Everest. And a lot of people have died on Mount Everest.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them are in a particular area. They call it the Rainbow Mile because of all these people's different color parkas. But this particular guy, Green Boots, um, he's a specific marker on, how you're at a certain spot
Oh,
on
okay.
the mountain. It's like a part of the climb. If you're climbing it today, you're going to pass by Green Boots. And let me see if I can.
Is it like a form of respect to leave their bodies up there?
Well, kind of, but also when you go up to the top
Mile
of Mount
markers?
Everest, everything is budgeted. How much food you have, how much shit you're carrying in your pack, how much oxygen you have.
Mm-hmm.
There literally isn't enough oxygen to bring all the bodies down, even if it was one by one. It would require more, like people would be exerting more and they would require more oxygen, and everything has to be at a delicate balance for you to start at the bottom and make it up to the top and back safely.
So yeah, it's so dangerous they just leave it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then it becomes a part of just, the thing up there. But
Green Boots. I was kind of I hate that my brain was going like spooky mode, but I was hoping you were going to say that he like moves. Like people have photographed his body in the same position in different areas.
No.
No one can explain it, but
that would be fucked. But there's like Rainbow Valley is what they call it, but it's there's like all these pieces of debris from people's attempts at climbing the mountain, and then the people that have died up there, their bright colored parkas and shit just become
oh wow.
But that's the point of what I'm trying to say is like, there's even somebody dies scuba diving, you might not get their body back. Depends on where you're scuba diving, depends on how hard it was, depends on how they got trapped down there.
Right.
So like with any of these extreme environments, it's like it's a risk going down there
in general, like already.
Right. We're not adept for that environment. Who knows what creatures that are adept for that environment could be in there.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Dude, Australia is a prime example, but like we look at some of the creatures down there.
Gosh.
You know what I mean? Like tell me we aren't ripe to find some other strange creatures in the next 50 or 100 years.
I hope that everyone having a computer in their pocket, changes that.
It will.
As long as people get out.
I think also too, just like a lot of this technology becoming even more deployable, like trail cams.
Yes.
Like, trail cam footage can be really good footage now. And it's just a matter of time and people putting up enough trail cams to start catching some shit,
Right.
That I was saying, I'm annoyed that we live in 2023 and no one's got any good video yet, but also it's like the more abundant it becomes, the more people like when not only can the trail cam have a camera, it can do thermal and all this other shit. Who knows what we're going to find when that technology is just cheaply available and deployed the way that all these other technologies are now. But a lot of the extreme environment, like very few people are going to do that in the extreme wilderness. Even less people are going to do that in the Amazonian jungle. No one is going to do that underwater except for James Cameron.
God bless him. Yeah. I wish we could do that, but I don't think anyone would be cool with it. Or if someone did do it, they would use it for like nefarious purposes. Yeah, and it would only be sold.
Yeah. For sure. It wouldn't be for like the public good or anything.
But I so wish, we could just have like a net of drones, just like, just a ton of them, and just put them over one of our mountains.
I guess this is what I'm saying is like this shit now. Everyone can have a drone, and the more abundant this shit gets, I'm sure right now you and I could go on the internet and buy a drone with a thermal camera, like a good grade thermal camera drone.
You want to go to the woods in Colorado and light it up?
This is what I mean. Like, this is what I mean. We are at the point now where some of this shit can be done. I mean, I love watching security camera compilations on YouTube, like scary shit captured on security cameras.
Those are the form is so great on that because it's like it's real. It's real. You know, you start out with that. Like,
well, most of them,
right.
a lot of them are real. And again, like I analyze security video for a living. Like I'm aware of all the artifacts of digital video. I understand how digital video is encoded, and some of the shit that they have on there is very convincing. Some of it is easily faked, as with any of this shit. But the whole point of what I'm trying to say is like that's a whole thing that exists now that people can have cameras recording in their home, high definition cameras recording in their home, night vision cameras recording in their home. This is a shit that even 10 years ago, like most people weren't even going to think about installing a security system. And now everyone has a Blink or a Ring or, and dude, some weird shit gets captured.
And this is why
you got a camera recording all the time, it occasionally captures some strange shit.
It's been great for like ghost stuff, I'll say. It hasn't benefited Bigfoot yet, but for capturing ghost stuff, it's been pretty fun with all that. Like,
there's been like I've seen some pretty good videos with like other cryptid, like not necessarily Bigfoot. Bigfoot will occasionally make it in there, but a lot of it's like chupacabras, or like someone will catch like a weird creature running across their lawn that's walking in a weird way, or definitely for ghost shit though. The ghost shit is amazing.
Yeah, and that's one thing I do watch some. I've like looked through the YouTube offering of like ghost hunters, you know, and it's all just great trash TV.
Oh, you know?
It's terrible. But I'm like, why not? And I know why they can't do it because they're low budget YouTubers. But like, why not have like some camera in every single room of a haunted house, like with all the different, you know, thermal, you know, infrared, regular, like microphones everywhere. Just like, let's get down to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, but see, that's the thing. Like, and this is my major gripe with the ghost hunters. They'll go in for like a night, or they'll go in for a couple hours. What you need is a camera recording 24/7, all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the likelihood that something is going to happen, of all the time when it could happen, the likelihood of something happening while you're there, you know, whatever. But if you have a camera that's recording there all the time and gives you alarms when something happens, you know, that would be the best bet to capturing like the real shit. But I've also, this is like a strange element to the whole like ghost thing, not to get too far off topic here, but I've been recently like hearing the idea that people who experience poltergeist activity or ghost activity, what is happening is like some inner turmoil in them is so great that it's triggering these events or like apparitions. Like there's like an anxiety or worry or concern or darkness in them that is so intense that it's like physically manifesting itself like electrical sparks. So it's kind of like changed my idea of like what is a haunting, what is a ghost. Is a place haunted, or is like a person's energy coming into a place like that is what makes it manifest. Again, what happens when people aren't there? If you had cameras in a haunted house 24/7 for months and years,
why can't we do this?
You know, this is we can do this right now.
Yes, finally.
You know, and I'm sure we're not the first people to think of this, but I'm sure there's some haunted house that has already set up a security system, has captured some legit shit. But like that's how you would capture this anomalous shit. Bigfoot would be the same way.
Like
it's
Big
not
Brother.
Yeah, seriously, it's not having a drone out there for a couple hours. It's having drones out there every day and every night in stationary, just like spread out, capturing everything, all the information possible, and just looking for anomalies.
We can do it for like a game show like Big Brother. You know, we can like bring people into a house for 10 weeks and film every minute and sell like After Dark to Showtime.
That's what I mean.
Why can't we do that with the ghost house?
We absolutely could. This would be an amazing reality show.
Or like Fish Tank, if you're familiar with that more recent thing.
Yeah.
Fish Tank.
You know, it could be like a cross between that show Alone, and we talked about this with the Garbage Patch.
We did.
This could be another Alone show. Like you have You have high definition cameras, TV cameras in a square mile plot in known Sasquatch territory. You send out like 12 or 15 people with high definition cameras to just watch, basically Blue Planet style, sit in camouflage and just record high definition video, scan their surroundings with thermal. We could do this. Like, all this shit exists. It's probably not even that expensive relatively. Like, you'd have to find somebody who'd be willing to get rid of a couple $1 million. But that could be done. But
Dude,
it would have to be like, you'd have to do that for months. Months, maybe a year, a full year of people doing that, and just like analyzing the video and looking for anomalies and seeing if anything worthwhile was captured.
Well, you have all these Sasquatch believers already out there. You could recruit them so easily.
But do we want them?
Do we want
Because
a bias?
Every one of those assholes will be looking at every chipmunk or hearing every noise. It's Bigfoot. It's fucking Bigfoot. I smell them. And in reality, they just shit their pants. You know?
It's like, we got them, boys. Albino Bigfoot.
I guess.
Tagged. They start naming him. Yeah. It seems feasible. Maybe that's why it hasn't happened.
It's another missed goddamn opportunity. We're giving these people great ideas for shows, and nobody's listening. Nobody's taking these ideas and giving them to CBS to turn into an actual show.
This is like $1 million idea right here.
Beyond $1 million. It's a fucking franchise, man. We just handed somebody a franchise.
Or they've already done this, and the reason we don't know is because they don't want us to know. And then that'll be its own franchise as well. A bunch of movies with that one.
It's like a Squid Game kind of show just for like super rich people.
Yeah.
Hunting Bigfoot.
What? Yeah. Like, what if, why aren't millionaires out there like all racing to catch a Bigfoot? Like some sort of recession-proof idea. Like owning like rich horses or like expensive horses, like race. Totally. Like catching a Bigfoot.
Super rich people are always blowing insane amounts of money on dumb shit all the time. Why not on a legitimate cause, like looking for Bigfoot?
Okay, buy Twitter or catch Bigfoot. Elon Musk could have caught Bigfoot, and I think a lot more people would have liked him. I think
missed
Tesla
opportunity. Yeah, seriously, the stock price of SpaceX, Tesla, and
the PR for catching Bigfoot is huge.
That is, you can't even argue that.
I think Jeff Bezos could have gone in good favor of people if instead of going to space one time, he just found a Bigfoot, just one Bigfoot, just caught him.
Another missed opportunity. See, rich fucking super rich assholes, they have no idea how to spend their money. They're not creative at all. They have no idea how to spend all that. They have all that money, and they have no idea what to do with it. We could be finding Bigfoot, and instead he's sending dicks into space.
Right? We could be making documentaries talking about why would someone come out here and fake Bigfoot sign. Come full circle.
I'm part of the neighborhood Squatch. I'm gonna find me a Bigfoot.
Squatch siders. Oh, there's some Squatch sign right there. You see it? Why would anyone put that there if it wasn't for Bigfoot?
Yeah, right.
Who can even tie trees together like that? I think there's a Bigfoot scale for everybody. It's like everyone believes in Bigfoot.
Yeah, it's a spectrum.
But it's
a spectrum.
Are you like a cryptozoologist, or does it go into like an Alex Gray painting type of thing?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Maybe that's why it's like the first level introduction into weird shit.
I mean, this is pretty weird. This conversation, it is kind of a simple gateway, but the Bigfoot thing does get weird. But anyways, thank you for taking me down this hilarious rabbit hole. We got to have you back on. What do you want to do next? We've covered Bigfoot, the trash patch.
Yeah.
You know, we've raised the bar with Bigfoot. I don't even know. We're gonna have to come up with something real good to top this.
There is one thing. I don't know. Do you know much about Antarctica? I kind of mentioned it earlier.
You know, I know a fair bit, but we could. I've been wanting to do an episode on Antarctica. That's it. That's what we're doing.
That's a weird one too.
Fuck yeah.
Or at least what I found.
Dude, and recently it gets weirder. It's one of those stories that was weird when it first became a thing and just continues to actually get weirder. Even the known shit, like if you look up the actual crimes that occur at that base out there, people just lose their mind all the time. It's just a thing that fucking happens.
I was like, are we talking about this? Yeah, we're talking about the same thing. Yeah.
All right, that's what we're doing. All right, sick. This has been the Totally Legitimate Business Podcast.
Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for joining. Thank you everyone for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one. Mike, stay on after. We did it.
We did it.